Hello, my friends. Making Money with Gary. Today we're going to go over how to start a business online, how to sell things online, what the best way to go about it is. I'm going to get shallow into it. I'm not going to get deep into it, but I'm just going to give you basic ideas, my opinion of how to get it going. If you're thinking about getting something going where you're going to sell something online, and you want to know the best way to go about it. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you want to check to see if there is a market for what you're selling. You want to check and see if there's a market for it. So you want to do a lot of searches online, your Google search or whatever search engine you use, and you'll check and see if there's a market for whatever it is you want to sell. Then the second thing you want to do is check out different platforms. There's a load of different platforms. I mean, if you're selling books, there's Bonanza books, there's Book Scouter, there's eBooks, there's eBay, there's Amazon, and there's Etsy, and there's a bunch of other websites. So depending on what you want to sell, you want to check out the sites where the items sell and see what the best site is to sell on. You don't want to end up on a site where everybody is selling the same thing and everybody's underbidding everybody and the price is going to get driven down. Another thing, what you want to do is you want to check out social media. You want to check out social media and you want to join up some social media platforms like Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Reddit, and there's a bunch of them. There's a load of different social media platforms. And the reason you want to join up with these platforms is you want to have backlinks. And when I say backlink, you want to have a link. You want to have a web address going back to your store, to whatever the product is you're selling. Say you're selling a book on history, and it's about American history or something. You want to have that book with the backlink going back to your store so they can find that book if they're interested and want to buy it. If you're on like Instagram or something, what you do is if you join Instagram, right in your profile, put a link going back to your store that you're going to sell. And then take a picture of whatever it is you're selling, a book or whatever it is, and post that picture up on Instagram. Underneath the picture, write something like selling this book, history book. If you're interested, you could check this book out at my store, my online store. Go to my profile and go to the backlink. And another way to do it is if you're selling something on, if you're putting something up on Twitter, you just put a backlink right away. It goes back, and they click on it. You could write a little description what it is, and they'll click on it. They'll pop up in your store. Pinterest or something, you put the picture up, and if they like that item, you write something about the item under the picture, and then when they click on that picture, that'll take them back to your store. There's a backlink going back to your store, and it's always good to have backlinks going back to your store. It'll bring the traffic up, and you want traffic to sell, and you want to make sure your traffic is going to be buyers and not just traffic to be traffic. So you want to just write specifics. I'm asking $10 for this book. This is a rare book. If you're interested, check out my store, whatever. And you just don't want any old traffic coming to your store. You want traffic that's going to buy your items. And that's a good thing to do. And another thing is you want to have a large inventory, whatever you're selling. You want to have a good inventory. You want to have at least 500 items. Like me, I shop in thrift stores. I buy books at thrift stores and different places. And a lot of my books I get for $1 each. I mean, some books, if I go to Goodwill or something, I mean, it could go up $3, $4. But what I try to do is, if I'm buying a $3 or $4 book, believe me, that book's worth like $80 or $50 or more. Otherwise, I'm not going to pay that amount for it. Because also, and you want to make sure the item you're selling is going to move. So if you want to investigate the item, you really want to investigate what you're selling. If you're selling a book, say a history book again. If you're selling a history book, you want to investigate that book and see what that book sells for. And then you want to see the condition your book's in. My book, if your book's in very good condition, then you look up very good condition, what that book sells for. Not good, very good. And if the book is like new, then you look up that book in a like new condition, see what it sells for, see what it sold for. Another thing is, you want to see if it's a first edition, first printing, if the book is signed. If a book is signed and it's first printing and a first edition, that's a rare book. And that book's going to sell for good money if the person that signed it is a popular person, popular author. So you want to check all these things. You really want to investigate what you're selling. And you want to look at the quality. You want to look it over. You don't want to leave nothing out in the description. Say if you have a book that's like brand new, but the only thing is it has a little tear in the dust jacket that's like a 1/4 inch long, but the book itself is like brand new. Well, you put that in your description. Don't leave nothing out. Don't try to con the buyer. Don't put this book's like new. And I mean, put in there that, you know, the book itself is like new, but the dust jacket is very good, and it does have a 1/4 inch tear in it, or whatever it is. But just write in your description everything, and then also with the mailing, whatever you're charging for your book, $10, $20, $100, whatever it's worth, whatever the value of it is, you want to put the mailing fee that, you know, that you charge. You want to charge for mailing. You forget the free mailing. You're not going to make money on free mailing. I've done that. I've been there. I've been doing this store, my Etsy store. I've been doing it for 4 years. And for 4 years, and I started out with this store, I started out selling these. I was selling these pine needles. Now, I have 5 more pounds outside. That's just they're drying out there. That's what's left of what I sold. And with the pine needles, you want, with the pine needles, when I list these pine needles here, I have a big inventory of them. And I'll put, like, I have 10 1-pound orders. I have 5 2-pound orders. And I put my inventory, what I have, you put it in there on the website I'm on. And whenever it runs low, if it runs low, like from 10, it goes all the way down to 1, I'll boost it back up and I'll put I have 10 again. And then I'll go outside and I'll pick them and collect them. And I always keep a good inventory of my pine needles. And that's the same thing. That's the same thing I sell over and over and over again. But I have like 9 or 10 different sizes that I sell, the bundles, the packages, and I have them all listed up on the site. And everything goes priority mail, so the people get it within 3 days. And that way I don't have a problem that they complain that they got damaged or they dried out in the ride or whatever. I mail them fast. And the same thing with the books. When I do the books, if the book's worth $50 or more, it's going priority mail. They're getting it in 3 days. Within 3 days, anywhere in the United States. That's how I do my books. And if they're under that, they're going media mail, or they go ground, or they'll go different ways. And I go by the value of the book, or the rarity of the book, and then I'll ship it whatever way they want it. Sometimes people will want you to mail a priority, and then I'll have to charge them extra if it's not a really valuable book. And selling things online is kind of a up and down business. and in the beginning, I wasn't doing that well. I was only selling a couple $100 a month in lonely pine needles. That was the first thing I started selling. And then I was selling auto parts. I was selling a lot of different things. And I was bouncing all over the place, feeling my way around. I was on eBay. I was on Etsy. I was on a couple different sites, which I'm still on. And I was selling different things on different sites. And then some things flopped. And I found what flopped. Even some things on this site flopped. And I switched it around, and I got into the books. And the pine needles always did good. The long leaf pine needles for basket weaving, I always did very well with. There is a small market, but I have the market tied up pretty good. I mean, it's not a real big market, but no, it is a big market because I do have a lot of competition. So I shouldn't say that. And there are people, I mail these lonely pine needles all over the country. They go everywhere. They go to California, Oregon, Utah, Florida, Rhode Island, Mass, Maine, everywhere. There's people everywhere that make these baskets, and they buy these pine needles. And the reason they buy mine is because it's so long. And that's what I put in my advertisement. I put that they're, how long they are and stuff. And people like them. They rave about them. And it's, I've done well with that. And the books here I do very well with too. And the thing is with books, you want to have a good inventory. If you're thrifting and buying books, you want to have at least 500 books, at least 500 items. Because the thing is, if you're selling 1% a week, say, that means out of 500 books, you're going to sell 5 books a week. So you want, the bigger the inventory, the more. Now, if you have 1,000 books and you're selling 1%, you're going to sell 10 books a week. 1% of 1,000 is 10. So if you have 1,000, you're going to sell 10 books a week, 40 books a month. And it goes on and on. And what's your percentage? What if you're selling 2%? What if your keywords are good or whatever, or all your items are pretty rare and not a lot of people have them, and you're selling 2%. If you're selling 2%, then for 500 books, you're selling 10 books out of that a week, if it's 2% a week. And out of 1,000 books, 2% would be 20 books a week. And 4 weeks out of a month, it'd be 80 books a month. I mean, that's decent. So the percentage really does matter. And if I have 1,700 books listed. I have 2,500 books in this room. 2,500 books in this room. And out of 2,500 books, 1,700 and something are listed. And I do very well with the books. I have no complaints. I have on the Etsy site, all the books I sell, I have to be over 20 years old. I have to be vintage. So the newer books I put on different sites. I'll put them on eBay, but I don't have a lot. I don't put a lot on there. I don't put a lot on there. But I do have other sites that I do put the new ones on. But I don't have a lot of new books. I stay away from the new. I try to get the old vintage books that I know I can make money with. So if you're thinking of doing this, if you're really thinking about doing it, you should look into the site you're going to sell on. Look into the site that you're going to sell on. That's so important. Investigate the site that you want to sell on. Investigate the product you want to sell. Investigate what you want to sell for. How much you want to get. Everything you have to investigate. So investigate everything you're doing to make sure you're going to make a profit. Okay, we got a little campfire going out here. That's a good thing when you have a lot of property, you could have a little campfire going. See that? And it's all safe. It better not burn my needles. So it's a little campfire we have, and maybe it'll help dry out my needles. Over here, guys, I have 55 pounds of needles I picked off a tree that was dying a couple of weeks ago, and they were green. They're starting to brown now. And actually, it was 70 pounds. But by the time they brown, it's going to be less. It's going to be like 55 pounds. So, it's a beautiful day out. It really is. It's a beautiful day out here. I like it out here. I got to power wash the house. We have so many trees around the house. There's so many trees that we get all kinds of pollen and stuff. This here is a big old oak tree. That's a big old oak tree right there. Beautiful looking tree. A lot of trees in the yard. There's a duck out there. Okay, duck. So, if you're really thinking about selling online, take your time doing it. Investigate everything. Don't jump into nothing, and don't buy no program or nothing to sell fast and all this stuff, because all that stuff is just somebody trying to sell something. You know that. Unless that's what you need to get going. Then if you need something like that to get you going, then that's what you got to do. But me, myself, I stay away from all that. You know, I get advice, I get free advice from other sellers and stuff. And who's that? Oh boy, the one I was watching a lot of videos of was a Commonwealth picker. I thought his stuff was very informative. He was very informative. And the other one there in California, Golden State Picker. I was watching him. I tried Amazon. Amazon is not for me. It's not my kind of a site. It's not something I'd want to do. I tried it. I had 1,600 items up on that site. I tried the site. I just didn't care for it. I didn't care for it because I had a lot of problems on there. I mean, not every site is for everybody. I'm not saying it's a bad site. I'm just saying it wasn't for me. Amazon was not for me. Now, the sites I use, I'm very happy with. All right, guys. So if you're thinking about going into business selling things online, it ain't going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. So don't quit your day job. Do not quit your day job. Just try to build it up. Once you see you're making a couple thousand a month after a year or so goes by, maybe a couple of years. Once you see you're making a couple thousand a month at least, then wait and see if you can build that more. And then once you build it where you're comfortable, then you quit your job. But before that, don't quit your job. All right. All right, that's one of our sheds way over there. And, okay, I'm just walking around the yard. I like to walk and think. When I walk, I'm thinking of things. So, if you really like this video, hit the like button. And if you really like it, please subscribe. I would appreciate it. All right, guys. Over and out.